Hello, Buddhas. Now, this video is either going to really upset a lot of people or really inspire a lot of people. And I'm going to be talking about this book. The book called The Book, which wasn't ever really a book. It's kind of interesting. So, this is actually the Oxford Study Bible. I'm very happy to have one as a used copy, and it's fascinating because it's annotated and has a lot of explanations from scholarly folk. And I am in no way saying that this video is sponsored by any sort of religion. Let me be fundamentally clear about that. This book has nothing to do with religion. So now that you've clicked off the video, if you're triggered, the rest of you, welcome. This is going to be a little rant / talk about my journey so far into starting to read the Bible and starting to try and actually understand what the heck is going on. So, for some context, born and raised in Canada, okay, we are a Catholic country, whether people want to admit that or not. That was the belief of our forefathers, and we have a lot of those values instilled into our society. Fact, okay? I was baptized, communioned, all this stuff with Sunday school as a child, and etc. Never really made sense to me because they were all talking about this Jesus guy and all the things he did, and I was like, I don't really care. So my parents never forced me to go to church, and we didn't really go to church growing up. It wasn't a religious family, but we did go to mass with my grandparents, and we would go to weddings and that kind of stuff in churches, so I've been a part of the system. But I never actually read the Bible. I was never forced to sit down and read it. So I was never fundamentally brainwashed into a certain opinion. And now that I've started to read it, a year into my spiritual journey, I can state unequivocally that it has nothing to do with Catholics. Catholics came after, okay? Bible stories are originally written in Hebrew and Aramaic and were translated and put into these books and then printed and used to disseminate knowledge and spirituality, at least an interpretation of it, throughout the world. And then used, to oppress and control and to ruin a lot of stuff. And do some good. There's both good and light in all different religions, and this is not about religion. But what's fascinating about reading the Bible after having listened to, I can't specifically say that I have studied, but having listened to and been given the blessed interpretation of Neville Goddard through the incredible work of Brian Scott. His YouTube channel, people love 100%. Those lectures from Goddard and his interpretation of them is absolutely mind-boggling if you can get past your preconditioning opinion on religion. And I'm sorry, but we all have a preconditioned opinion on religion because our society has religion as a part of it. But if you can get past that and you can look at the fundamental concepts that Neville Goddard talks about in the Bible, it's beautiful. And I would say that personally, I believe that man had one of the best interpretations of this book of all time, and he's not the type of person who would go to church. It was actually a point of contention with a lot of people that believed his stuff. He understood the Bible in a way that was so far beyond the practical teachings of religious doctrine that he couldn't wrap his head around going to church one day a week and saying, okay, Sundays are the day that I'm going to worship this God, and then the rest of the time I'm just going to... No, his fundamental life was devotion to this idea of the God force within. And then in the book, the Bible, the stories are just that, stories to begin with. And they're talking about different states of being, states of human understanding and states of human experience. So I'm not going to talk about specific examples in the Bible because I am not a biblical scholar in any way, and I'm not qualified to interpret a specific story. But the grand idea that there was a singular person who came to earth and who was the only Son of God and did all these magical things constantly and then disappeared on a boat and then came back. The concept that that is the historical thing that happened about approximately 2,000 years ago. I'm recording this in the year 2020 as far as our scholarly understanding of time goes. And having our whole damn calendar based on that one dude's alleged life, that's a lot of pressure on one guy. So what I'm saying is, a part of this journey has been opening my mind to different concepts that I would have never even considered: light language and Arcturian, Palladian, and Sirius, and galactic intelligences. If I'm willing to consider those things, and trust me, I'm more than considering them, I think they're amazing, and I'm looking forward to learning more and sharing that with you, then I would be doing myself, and in a way humanity, a disservice by not studying some of the fundamental stuff that makes up our society. And that's where I'm coming at this book from. Okay, I'm making this video and I'm about halfway through Genesis, the Old Testament essentially. And there is some wacky stuff that goes on in that book. But it's worth a read because I'm not looking at it from a religious standpoint. I want to make that again very clear. Yes, I have specific religious morals and tenets in my psyche because that's how I was brought up. And I don't think that they're a disservice. I think that thou shalt not kill and some fundamental goodness that has come from it, I think they serve me to make me the person that I am, to make me exactly where I need to be right now in order to spread this message. But I also don't feel entitled enough to shove it down anybody's throat, which is why at the beginning I encourage people to leave. What I'm saying is this: a book like Think and Grow Rich and a book like the Bible are the same thing. This is just another chapter, okay? I could even say the same thing about You Can Heal Your Life. It's just another chapter. I could say the same thing about Practical Watch Repairing, which I was reading for fun because I have a watch that I'm working on. These are just written knowledges and accounts of humans' opinions on how stuff works, right? In 10,000 years, if everything were to disappear, okay? So there's something went on, it caused everything to stop working all of a sudden. And this is the only book that was left, Think and Grow Rich, which would probably be a good book to be left. People may find it, read it, and go, oh my God, this is the secret to the universe and everything, because it kind of is. And then that might be considered a religious text by the more primitive human beings that find it after we are gone. And who's to say that's not exactly what happened with this? Okay? These are beautiful stories, don't get me wrong. And I think that all stories should be preserved and passed on. And the technology that we have now is doing us such a service, and we have access to more information at our fingertips than we ever have before. Okay? Think about it. You can Wikipedia anything. It's not the same as having a physical hard copy, but alas. I guess what I'm trying to say is just having an open mind, right? I want to finish reading this so that I can read more, right? I want to read the Quran. I cannot read Arabic in any way whatsoever, but I'm sure there's some sort of English translation that I can find. I want to read more books. I want to read books from Hinduism and Taoism and understand the different aspects of this world. And I think Alan Watts put it right when he said that in a lecture, a yogi or a Buddhist monk had been asked to translate a Taoist teaching. I'm not getting my details exactly right here, but the gentleman laughed and said, everything is Taoism. Everything at the end of the day is the same. It's all how to be Buddha, how to find that middle way, that enlightenment. And that's the point of what I'm doing. I want to share what I'm doing with everyone that I possibly can, thus the YouTubes, because infinite audience, and have an open freaking mind about it. A book's a book. Certain books are loaded. People have some opinions about them, and you can feel that in the psyche when you look at it. But if you can get past that and you can look at it with an open mind and explore what it might have to offer, that is enlightenment. So I'll leave you guys there till the next time. Peace.